The history of African American women's suffrage movement. The history of African American women's suffrage movement is a complex and important one that has evolved over time. It has been shaped by the experiences of Black women, who have had to navigate multiple forms of oppression, including racism, sexism, and classism. The roots of African American women's suffrage movement can be traced back to the early 19th century, when Black women were actively involved in the abolitionist movement. Many of these women, such as Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, were also involved in the women's suffrage movement, but they found that their voices were often silenced or ignored. It wasn't until the 1960s and 70s that African American women's suffrage movement really began to take shape as a distinct movement. During this time, Black women were becoming increasingly involved in the civil rights and Black power movements, but they were also fighting for their own rights as women. In 1973, the Combahee River Collective, a group of Black feminist activists, formed in Boston. They believed that the struggles of Black women were distinct from those of white women and Black men, and that these struggles needed to be addressed in a separate, intersectional way. The Combahee River Collective created a platform that addressed the unique experiences of Black women, such as the ways in which racism and sexism intersect to create a system of oppression that is greater than the sum of its parts. They also emphasized the importance of collective action and solidarity between all marginalized groups. Black feminism continued to evolve throughout the 1980s and 90s, as more and more Black women, bell hooks, and Patricia Hill Collins brought attention to the ways in which Black women were often excluded from mainstream feminist and anti-racist movements. Today, Black feminism continues to be an important force for social justice. It has influenced a wide range of movements, from #MeToo to Black Lives Matter, and has helped to bring attention to the ways in which different forms of oppression intersect and reinforce each other. In short, the history of Black feminism is a powerful and ongoing story of resistance and resilience. It is a testament to the strength and determination of Black women who have fought, and continue to fight, for their rights and the rights of all marginalized groups. The story of a woman named Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery in Maryland in the early 1820s. She grew up working in the fields, but she always dreamed of freedom. When she was a young woman, she married a free man, John Tubman, and changed her name from Araminta to Harriet. However, she remained enslaved. In 1849, Harriet escaped slavery and made her way to Philadelphia. But she didn't stop there. Over the next decade, she made several trips back to Maryland to help others escape slavery through the Underground Railroad, a network of secret routes and safe houses used by enslaved people to escape to freedom in the North or Canada. Despite the risks, Harriet continued to help others, earning the nickname, Moses, for leading so many people to freedom. She never lost a single person on her trips, earning the respect and admiration of abolitionists and enslaved people alike. During the Civil War, Harriet served as a nurse, cook, and spy for the Union Army. She even led a military raid that freed over 700 enslaved people in South Carolina, becoming the first woman to lead an armed expedition during the war. After the war, Harriet continued her work as an advocate for women's suffrage and civil rights. She also established a home for elderly and indigent African Americans in Auburn, New York, where she lived until her death in 1913. Harriet Tubman's bravery and perseverance in the face of incredible adversity continue to inspire people today. She remains a symbol of hope and freedom, and her legacy lives on through the countless lives she helped to change.